can start.
We can start.
Where's the link? Send us
I'll
something.
send. Yeah.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Shivaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Ato Jayamudire Shastra Jayamudire Shastra Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nastiki. Okay, 62. Now before that, I went back to look at
That verse.
text 59. And what I understood, I haven't had the opportunity to ask other devotees. The discussion here is about Achintya Veda Veda Tattva. And the body is the element, but not really the element.
Made of elements, but not the
Not really element. So that's what the whole discussion is. The five elements are earth, water, fire, but it is made of them, but it is not the five elements. So that's how I saw it. So all such theories are insubstantial because it's simultaneously one and you cannot say it is the element. It is not because it's not transformation. So Prabhupada writes when he quotes Maya Tatam Idam Sarvam, there he says, thus our speculative theories that Atma, the living force, then he compares it with the soul. It's a combination of matter. That matter is a transformation of soul, or that the body is part of the soul, or all insubstantial.
I think he's talking on that.
Yeah. So then you can understand that even the material body, there's two levels. Prabhupada is talking about the soul is different from the matter. But the verse itself is talking about the body and the elements. It's still not the same. That's what Narad Muni is saying. The element, for example, the universe is covered with how many layers? 8 layers.
8 layers.
So the first layer is?
Top layer is false.
What is it? Oh, I say the first layer that's covering earth.
Earth.
Right?
Yeah,
But you can't see earth. Yeah, so the element earth is different from the earth that you experience here. Right? But still, that it is earth element. But what earth you're talking about is different.
Gross.
So like that is different. It's the same, but it's different at the same time.
So that's the Achintya Veda.
Yeah, so that's what he's trying to emphasize. So that's how I understood. Now, of course, I will ask, because the whole idea is that the Lord has different energies and he expands. And so I understood it that way. But I will, because in the next paragraph, just talk about Achintya Veda Veda. Okay, so I just wanted to highlight that. And so we can go to verse 62 now. Bhavadvaitam Kriyadvaitam Dravyadvaitam Tatatmanaha Vartayan Swanubhutyeha Trin Swapnan Dunute Muni. After considering the oneness of existence, activity and paraphernalia, and after realizing the self to be different from all actions and reactions, the mental speculator, Muni, according to his own realizations, give up the 3 states of wakefulness, dreaming, and sleep. Okay, so whether you are awake or dreaming or sleeping, you're still identifying with certain things. So the Prabhupada says, The three words Bhavadvaita, Kriyadvaita, and Dravyadvaita are explained in the following verses. I think the next 4 verses talks about the philosophy of Advaita.
Can we close?
Yeah,
Same way.
go ahead. Just pull it from that side. Yeah. Creation begins with the sound. But this sound is
Disturbing.
disturbing. All right. So, one who is sleeping, or one in sleep, may be thinking of when they are like they are thinking when they look at other entities or what they see the differences between objects. A person can see the difference. Okay, he is different. So he's identifying with the body. So that's the sleeping state, so to say, like that. Okay, or you can say the wakeful state. He's still sleeping in that sense that he doesn't understand it's the spirit soul. And then the other state, you look at different activities for different levels of people. See what activities this person is doing, what activity the other person is doing. So that's like a dream, thinking I am qualified to do this, I'm qualified to do that, like that. And then the final one is thinking that whatever I get, the effort I put in belongs to me. Yeah. So all these are considered to be
Karma Mimamsa.
you can say that whatever it is, it's like the identification is all on the level of
External.
the matter and so on, and one identifies that, but it's considered to be all in the 3 states like wakefulness, dreaming, and sleep. But he still, even one can say I'm awake, but you're not awake to the understanding that you're not the body, like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So these are like levels of consciousness which are lower than pure consciousness.
You can say that, yeah. Text 63. So now, next 4 verses about Advaita philosophy.
The purpose, why does it say how one has to give up all the non-duality of philosophical life? What does it mean, non-duality of philosophical life?
Non-duality of philosophical life. Speculative,
Everything's same, he's saying?
Non-duality, yeah, not the same. I'm you and you are me, right? Non-dual.
Is that what they're saying?
That's what the Advaita philosophy is.
So Mayavad philosophy.
Huh?
Mayavad philosophy.
Yeah, this is Mayavad philosophy. The oneness philosophy. Yeah.
So one has to give up the non-duality, or one has to give up duality?
One has to give up
Non-duality.
life in material world
Non-duality.
and come to the actual understanding, right? Yeah. Of reality in the spiritual world,
Which is variety.
which is variety. Yeah.
Even in the middle world, we have to give up this non-dual.
Because
Yeah, because you're thinking non-dual means we are all the same.
same.
Yeah.
Brahman conception that we are all the same, but it's not.
But there are levels of consciousness which are
Not
different.
consciousness, we are different.
Mm.
Remember the previous verses, it's about Achinta Veda Veda. We are simultaneously identical to the Lord, but we are different. Yeah. So, but then the Advaita philosophy is that we are the same, but we are not the same. We are spiritually of quality, but we are not of quantity. We are different.
Mm.
So therefore, you have to give up this non-duality philosophical thinking.
Mm.
So the next 4 verses is on Advaita philosophy. Okay. Karya Karana Vastvakya
Karya Karana Vastvakya
Darshanam Patatantuva
Darshanam Patatantuva
Avastutva Vikalpasya
Avastutva Vikalpasya
Bhavadvaitam Tad Uchyate.
Bhavadvaitam Taduchyate.
When one understands that result and cause of one and that duality is ultimately unreal, like the idea that the threads of a cloth are different from the cloth itself, one reaches the conception of oneness called Bhavadvaita. So in the cloth there is thread.
Yeah.
So people think the thread is a cloth like that, you know. But it's not the same. So if you understand the Achinta Beda Beda Tattva, then you'll see they may appear the same, but they are not the same. Okay. But the result and cause are actually guaranteed by the Supreme Lord, right? Whatever you do, your actions and so on, right? The Lord is the sanction. So He is behind all the actions that happen. Not the action. Even the action happens is behind. Remember the Bhagavad Gita?
5 factors.
5 factors behind any activities or actions you do. So He is actually one of the persons there. Yeah, He must be there. Otherwise action cannot take place.
I mean, what is he trying to say in this verse? That we should look them to be different or not?
He's describing Advaita philosophy. Describing.
Which is Mayavad?
Mayavad is Advaita. Oneness philosophy, Advaita. Sankara's philosophy.
Oh.
Okay?
But Mayavad was
But actually they are different. Okay?
उसको अच्छा लगता है ना, like the idea.
Therefore-
you want to.
Ultimately it's unreal.
Yeah.
Right? That's this understanding. So within this world they say all this duality is unreal. Yeah. That's what they are saying.
So then why would they say that they are different? They would say they are same, no?
Yeah. So this is saying that they will say this is wrong. Okay?
so true. This duality is duality of soul and super soul.
They are saying that when one understands the result and cause, that means that you are actually even though you see a result, it's you as Brahman who is giving the cause.
Oh.
Like,
So there is no difference.
And
Because you are the
then-
cause, you are the result.
and that duality is unreal. So that's what they are saying. That kind of duality is unreal. He's describing Advaita philosophy. Like the idea that the threads of a
And the
cloth
cloth are
are
different.
different from the cloth itself. They're saying no, it is
It's the
It
same.
is the same.
it is the same.
Oh, like I thought like means they acceptance.
Yes.
But not that. That's not a like. They're giving like example.
Yeah. So therefore, when you understand that, then you understand Bhava Advaita. That's what he's saying.
That is Bhavadvaita.
Yeah. Bhava.
Bhava means
So oneness in the concept. Sarva karma samarpanam
Sarvakarma Samarpanam
manovak tanubhi partha kriyadvaitam taduchyate. Yudhishthira, Partha, and all the activities one performs with his mind, words, and body are dedicated directly to the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One reaches oneness of activities called Kriyadvaita. Okay.
actions.
So here, as a devotee, we can understand what it means. Kriya.
Everything in the sun.
Yeah. Whereas Advaitas, they'll say, I'm actually non-different from the Brahman. I'm
So I
doing
don't
the
serve.
same activities. Yeah.
Yat karoshi.
So of course, the verse Yat Karosi Yadasnasi, do whatever you do unto me. That is the oneness for us. Whatever we do, we should make sure it's connected to Krishna conscious or Krishna himself. Yeah. So we shouldn't be doing anything for ourselves. It should be done as a service. That's the whole idea in Krishna consciousness. As soon as you decide to do for yourself, then you are covered by the material energy. Definitely. Immediately. Instinctively. Right? As soon as you think, immediately you're covered. You're not no more existing on the devotional platform.
Hmm.
Okay. So whatever
So,
we
Prabhu,
do,
what is Mayavad's Kriya Advaita then? How would they interpret that?
whatever they are doing, they are thinking they are the Supreme Lord.
They're doing for themselves, not for
Yeah.
Krishna.
They are doing it so that they will stop the reactions
Mm.
that is binding them. According to them, the Maya is holding them. So by stopping Maya, then they can, the Brahman gets released. Right? That's how the Mayavad feels. Because for them, even the worship of the Supreme Lord is an imagination.
So Bhava Advaita, Kriya Advaita,
And
Narad
then-
Muni is saying in a devotional concept. We are just talking about the Mayavad concept.
He's
But we-
explaining, you see that's tricky, because he's explaining the Advaita philosophy, but Srila Prabhupada always will pull in devotional.
Devotional, yeah.
So sometimes you need to be written a purport because it's quite straightforward. Yeah, so he doesn't write in the purport. Here it is more of a Kriya Advaita and in activities. Okay?
Mm.
So they think I am Brahman doing the activities. Confused.
But even if, as you mentioned, Brahman Advaita, that is also right because Brahman is the living entity.
Yes.
They call Brahman only as Brahman effulgence.
No,
Mayavad.
no.
Parabrahma. They call
It's
Parabrahma.
opposite.
Yeah,
They call
exactly.
the last
They call
We are
Parabrahma.
also Brahman, but
Yeah,
Yes.
Brahman.
for them there's no difference between
There is no
Brahman and Brahman.
There is just Brahman.
Anyway, when we are guided by a spiritual master,
You get the right
in the
understanding.
service of Krishna, we are in oneness with Krishna. Okay, that is the proper understanding. And Prabhupada says we shouldn't manufacture our own oneness. So by explaining that, we can then understand the verse Kriya Advaita, what they are thinking.
Yeah.
You get it?
It's only because of Achincha Veda Vada we are able to understand.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's why from the beginning, if you understand Sachinta Veda, then this makes a lot of sense. Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, one time Madhvacharya Sampradaya Acharya actually appreciated Prabhupada. It is difficult to get this.
Yes. So don't look in from the point of Mayavad. Look from the point of devotional. Then you can see how they are thinking. Okay. Right? So we do it as a service. They are doing it as
Satisfying themselves.
or Brahman. I am Brahman
Brahman.
doing this activity to get free. So therefore Prabhupada writes, we should not manufacture our own oneness. Text 65. So it's like 4 verses. So this is the last verse. Atmajaya sutadinam anyesham sarvadehinam yat swarta kamayor aikyam dravyadvaitam tad uchyate. Okay, dravyadvaita means oneness in different paraphernalia. Okay, just in case you are wondering. And here Srila Prabhupada says oneness of interest. Okay. Translation. When the ultimate goal and interest of oneself, one's wife, one's children, wives, and all other embodied living beings is one, this is called Dravyadvaita or oneness of interest. Okay, again Srila Prabhupada brings us to understand what the real interest should be. Okay, so in the first verse he says the actual interest of all living entities is to God.
Swarthakam.
Yes. Swartha
Kamaya.
Kamaya. That is the real proper understanding of what one's goal is. Okay.
That's Loka then in the seventh chapter.
Yes,
Partikatam Vishnu.
Yes, na te
Swartagatam
swatagatim
Vihirishnu.
ti Vishnu.
Bahirartha Mani.
Yeah. Children and all their paraphernalia also. My
Extension.
extension.
For my pleasure, मतलब बच्चा मेरे से करना चाहिए. You should do what I want. That's your. That's how they become character.
Initially they are pleasure and later on they become pain.
But that's not the.
What is pleasure? What is pleasure, bro?
Sure,
So
again it
that's
will
why
become pleasure.
everything serves a paraphernalia because everything's used for service.
Once
Okay,
they
so
come
anyway-
together, then
For us, it doesn't work.
Anyway, Prabhupada says, and he wants to make it clear, this is the interest of one's own self, one's wife, one's children, one's disciple, one's friends, relatives, countrymen, and all humanity. It become an interest. And it includes many things also, could be property, country, and so on, right? The Krishna consciousness movement can give directions for management by which everyone can partake in Krishna conscious activities and reach the ultimate goal, which is known as Swartha Gati. So Prabhupada highlights that, and you all were chanting that verse from the seventh canto. The Krishna conscious movement is trying to bring everyone to the highest interests. The process may be differently named, but if the aim is one, people should follow it to achieve the ultimate goal of life. And then he gives you how people are thinking. Unfortunately, people are thinking of different interests. Blind leaders are misleading them. Everyone is trying to reach the goal of complete happiness materially because people do not know what complete happiness is. They are materially diverted toward different interests. So this Dravyadvaitam is oneness in their, whatever they do, they say it's the same. You know, my interest is the same as my wife's interest, my son, and we all one. So actually our interest is the same. That's how they come to conclusion. But devotee understands is that there is a different interest actually, which is interest of
Krishna.
Supreme Person. Yeah. And then his interest is that we go back to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's two actually, not one. Right? Madhvacharya. No? Yeah. So that's why he came to say there's two. It's not one. Advaita. And then Mahaprabhu.
Just Krishna.
Yeah. And then of course Mahaprabhu says everything is
Same and different.
same and different at the same.
Reconcile all the
But don't try to understand the
Maya.
don't try to understand. Yeah.
You'll be convinced otherwise.
You will be convinced. It's so well written. Because originally, remember, the Vedas were misused, so the Lord had to stop that. So who came to stop that? Buddha. So Buddha denied that. And so to teach the same philosophy but in a covered way, Shankara came. And he teaches actually the same thing, but then he uses
Maya.
Vedas. So it becomes so confusing. And you can see, even when we are trying to do, we are all confused. So try not to, unless you have the brain like that, very intelligent, and you can understand Mayavadi philosophy you can pull it apart and then show the fallacy in it, then go for it. Otherwise, don't do it.
Prabhupada explained very simple. Or Brahmananda sometime, they were in the room and they locked the door. So if you are the same, then the chair and you are the same, then I'll hit you on the chair on you. They said, no, I'm not same now.
No, I think it's a Bhakti Siddhanta, no? In the train. Mangoes. So rotten mango, because he took a vow he won't eat the mango. That's to argue or say something. So then he told his disciple,
Feed him mangoes. Fine.
hold him down and feed all these rotten mangoes, because it's the same. So when they were fasting, he surrendered. He said, "No, you're right. It's not the same."
That's the easiest way to make them.
Of course, you can't do that.
If you're powerful enough.
Yeah, exactly why I say if you're powerful enough, then you can go and study the Mayavad philosophy and then break it down, the structure. We don't need to know that. Ours is very simple. Our philosophy is, you think you are God and I'm also God. We are the same. They'll say yes. So you can give me your wallet because it's mine. Then you'll see the philosophy will change quickly. I think that's how it was. There was a person who was insisting that he is his God and so on. So one devotee in Boston, I think could be Giriraj Swami. So he said, so if you are God, then whatever you have belongs to me because I am you and you are me. He said, yes, so you give me. And he was so proud he refused to agree. He gave all the wallet back. So the Maharaj said he took it and was walking away. The guy came back and said, I need to go take a bus and eat something. So
After taking back, yes, that is my Leela.
yeah, exactly. And then when they catch them, they'll say that's my Leela. All this nonsense. But so you can see, everything is centered around Krishna, but it appears different in different ways because it's Achintya Veda Veda Tattva. So because of that, people tend to think differently and they get confused. So Prabhupada says,
so the translation is as is.
Yes.
The purport Prabhupada actually gives us the.
yes, always he gives the bhakti. His purpose is bhakti purpose.
Even in the Bhagavad Gita is like that.
Yes.
Second, third, fourth,
Yeah.
fifth chapter. Otherwise, people get.
Oh yeah, it's like the third, fourth, and fifth, no? It's all karma yoga, right?
Yeah.
And then you're thinking, where's this karma yoga?
Even Jnana Yoga.
No, where's karma kanda? Third canto is about karma kanda.
But
But
Prabhupada
where-
gives the bhakti.
yeah, because his purpose is all about karma yoga. Actually. Because we are not at the, we are very unfortunate. Put it. At least I know I'm very unfortunate. So because even if you try to understand, you can't appreciate what Krishna is saying. We are not at the level. This is spoken thousands of years ago, and the people there was much more elevated than how we are. So we are very fortunate for Prabhupada, and he knows how we are thinking. He knows the future, so he's giving it this way. Because just imagine another 2,000 years later, maybe people will be better than us, but I'm saying for a future like us. So
After 10,000.
So what's happening is all these Mayavadi gurus, like on Bhakti TV, there is something called Bhakti TV.
Bhakti TV.
Yeah, in India.
It's a
It
channel.
gets relayed here also. It's a channel. My mother watches that occasionally. So I keep, like as I'm walking past, I look at that. They stole all ISKCON pictures.
Oh
Like
yeah.
they'll show Gajendra Moksha, ISKCON, so many of them. And they'll be talking Mayavad. They'll be
Yeah.
showing the ISKCON picture and they'll be speaking.
They just concoct all this.
Mm.
In the previous verse, Prabhupada mentions we shouldn't concoct our own philosophy. So, lack of knowledge, the problem is society has gone so far into sense enjoyment. There's no indication of saying who is an authority in spiritual.
Exactly. Anybody can speak.
So anyone is speaking what they want to
Even
speak.
if they follow their spiritual masters, they are on the wrong path because it's not the bona fide sampradaya.
They don't even have sampradaya.
I don't think they have something.
Mostly
Like one of them was a postman.
One night he becomes.
Yeah, one night he had
Transform.
revelation or something.
Yeah, that's how they talk. Ramakrishna.
It's very good business.
Ramakrishna.
Somebody is giving them flight ticket to come to America. They're giving classes here also, like that.
Like Ramakrishna, he tells that he gave all his power to Vivekananda.
Yeah.
He touched him and all the power. Where is such philosophy?
mantra. And I said, this is free mantra because I often listen in Prabhupada's lectures. Prabhupada says you're not charging anything, it's
yes.
free mantra. So then he started putting out a mantra from his wallet.
Hmm.
And he showed me, is this same? I said, no. This is something you got for some price maybe. But this is absolutely free. And try for a month or two and you will see the benefits. So he kept it and he walked on.
That's good, yeah. So many cheaters, so many.
Yeah.
And mostly it's impersonal. Mostly it's impersonal.
Yeah.
Mostly, nobody else
Bhakti is very rare,
that we can appreciate.
right? Okay. Text 66. So now he's finished that, so it's a different thing. Yad yasya vani siddham syat
Yadasya vani siddham syat.
yena yatra yato nipa
Yena yatra yato kripa.
satene hita karyani
Sadene hata karyani.
naro nanye ranapadi.
Naro nanyaranapadi.
In normal conditions, in the absence of danger, O King Yudhishthira, a man should perform his prescribed activities according to his status of life with the things, endeavors, process, and living place that are not forbidden for him and not by any other means. Okay? So whatever your varna or ashram is, that's what he's saying. Okay. Right. So everyone must act according to his position. But the factor, the most important factor is whatever act from the second chapter in the first canto. Right?
So who is giving the instruction? This is still Narada Muni?
Yes, yes, yes. That whole chapter is. So ataha pumbe dvija shrestha varnashram vibhagasha sunischitasya dharma. To explain is there.
Second chapter?
Yeah.
Oh.
First canto, second chapter.
Yeah, such a
The full bhakti philosophy is there. How to attain pure devotion is there.
at the beginning.
Huh?
It's such a at the beginning actually.
Yeah, it's at the beginning because the 6 questions that are asked all finished by the 3rd chapter.
Yeah.
And then the rest is just expansion. They want to know more, and that's all. It's an expansion. Right? So if everyone acts according to what you're good at or what your nature is, you will be satisfied. And another person looking at you will also be satisfied. What's happening now is society doesn't base on what your nature is. It's based on who can bribe who to get a position. And if I like something and if I have the funds to get it, then I'm qualified to get it. So the qualification has changed in the Kali Yuga. And so a lot of people are not satisfied with what they do. They are forced to do because they've got no other choice. Right? Previously it wasn't like that. For example, a person will work because that's his nature. A laborer would work and he is satisfied. But nowadays there's stigma in certain kind of activities, right?
Nobody wants to do agriculture.
Nobody wants to do agriculture. The farms are all abandoned. There was a book I read many years ago, almost 40, 50 years, 40, 45 years ago. And there's this book written by a person in South Africa, because at that time South Africa got
Apartheid.
appetite problems and so on. So then he is writing, and he writes, each chapter is like a short stories of what's happening. So he says in one story, like a few chapters for that particular person, that his son was working in the farm with him, but then he gets information from his friends who are in the city. So they are getting more money and stuff like that. So he's attracted. So finally his son one day abandons and goes away. And then he writes, now there's nobody here. All his workers have slowly dropped the tools and walked out. And he's saying, who is going to do all this now? He's getting old. He's trying to till the land. Because of the stigma, because you're not getting your sense gratification enough, so you abandon your situation, thinking I'll be in a better situation, but it's not true. So you'll find nowadays And that's another reason why Kalo Suddha Sambhava. People would like to work to get money, but they don't have Brahminical or other proper skills to do worship, right? How many people are actually wanting to do worship full-heartedly? You can't. So you have to follow Prabhupada's system. Then you'll find your other qualities. Basically, we don't have like Vaishyas, but we are very much like a Sudra. But we have those qualities also. So each of us have all these four qualities. Business, right? You can see sometimes devotee will talk to you and say, I got something you want to buy from me, like that, right? I got it cheap, So this guy is Vaishya, And then the Sudra will say, I'll help you do, you want me to carry this and stuff like that. So that's nature is in all of us. But at the moment, we are not satisfied because that's the nature of the Shudra. He's always
Wanting.
lamenting and hankering. Yeah. So when he says something is offered nice, he has it, I need it. That's a problem. Yeah.
Nowadays, everyone wants to be a Brahmana because it's top class, but at the same time, they want to earn money.
Yeah, but that's not
So
the.
it's-
Yeah.
So
And we read, right? Previously, Brahmanas will never work in the previous verses. Right? So Narada Muni made it very clear.
So in Nandagram, where Bhakti Swami has
Oh, I
established
thought
this form,
Nanda Maharaj.
no, Nanda, modeled after his name. So a lot of the people in Baroda and Bombay who are working as software engineers, earning good money, like 1.5 lakhs a month and all that, they all gave up their jobs and moved. And there the Varnashrama system is, they will not, everybody is not a Brahmana. Only some people are Brahmana. 10%. And then some people are actually, even though they are initiated devotees, they will do Shudra work. Like that.
Yeah.
So that the structure is waiting in the drum, generating methane gas or whatever, right? And so
They are
they're very
satisfied.
happy
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
And there is one person who is always with the Gurukula kids and he's teaching them. He actually learned formally Sanskrit. So he's more oriented towards teaching.
So there are people who want to study Shastra. And so you can see they have that Brahminical tendency. Like that. And then someone, hey, you do this, you do that. They have that Kshatriya tendency. So if you nurture that, then you feel they are comfortable, you are comfortable.
And Hari is also satisfied. Some Siddhi.
And Hari, Samsiddhi Haritosha. That's right.
So somebody said Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to quote this all the time. Like one of the most
Samsiddhi Haritosha.
favored line by him.
Each of us means we are not Brahminic. Right? So many places. Everyone wants to work. Prabhupada said Ravana wants to take Lakshmi without Hari. So it doesn't work. Sooner or later, Chanchala Vati will run away. Text 67. Etaranyascha vedoktair Vartamana swakarmabhihi Vepi asya gatinyaya Rajam sadbhakti naraha Sadbhakti that means doing service. O king, one should perform his occupational duties according to these instructions as well as other instructions given in the Vedic literature just to remain a devotee of Lord Krishna. Thus, even while at home, one will be able to reach the destination. So here, Narada is giving us understanding that if you follow properly, even when you are not able to go to temple and so on, you should be able to go back to Godhead. That's why he says, Gatim Yad. You can reach your destination.
But Prabhu, I always think this is mixed devotional service. This is not pure bhakti, and to go back, one needs 100% pure bhakti.
Yeah.
Even if you have a slightest material desire, you are staying here. So
but you see, we have Prabhupada.
Right.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say, these are two contradictory instructions.
Which ones?
One is saying, there's Narad Muni saying, and we have read that in Bhagavad Gita too, that you do your duties, give your results to
Oh, okay. If you want to compare like that, um, it'll still take you back to God. Even if you think it not, it would. Why do you say it won't go back to God?
Because I've heard to go back to Golok Vrindavan, one has to be completely pure devotional service.
Srila Prabhupada says in one of the purport, right? Only the pure sannyasis will be awarded entry into that. So it's not for everyone.
No, I
It
mean,
may take me to Vaikuntha or liberated state,
Vaikuntha
but
is going back to God.
yes, it is. But
So
to
why
go
you say it's
back
not
to-
pure?
It's pure.
If you say Krishna destination or Vaikuntha, then I'll say okay, I accept that. But it's not. We are not talking about that. You're talking about going back to Godhead, whether you go to Vaikuntha or whether you go to Goloka.
Okay, I think I made a wrong statement,
Yeah.
but still, my first statement, I'm still saying that staying at home, doing your occupational duty.
No, I'm not talking about occupational duty. Here, when you do it for the pleasure of the Lord, even at home, you're doing pure devotional service. How can you say it's occupational duty only? No, we're not talking about that. Devi Varnashram system is always centered around pleasing Krishna, whatever your occupation is. You understand?
I'm understanding.
Yeah.
I'm trying to understand. Like, let's say, if we go to work, we meet with so many materialistic people. Of course, we will be attracted because our association for 8 hours is like that. Even though we are trying to follow
Yeah,
Devi
for
Varnashram
now,
dharma,
like mostly everyone always.
that is what my only point is.
Yes.
We need to make a change, even if we are doing
Yes.
occupational
So
duty. It should be completely
whatever.
for
For
Krishna.
example, the idea here is Devi Varnashram system. Everyone is probably doing Krishna conscious activities. Even when they go to work, they are all Krishna conscious. So it should work. If in our situation, the present world, right, you're going out and the people who are doing nonsense, you're mixing with them. Yes, it's going to be difficult. It's
Yes.
a different situation, but
Okay.
still, the goal is achievable. If you say I'm only going to work for 30 years and that's it, bus. But then, from the first day of your work, you already know what you're going to give up already. That means you plan to retire in 20 years or whatever. Not that on the last day when they say, tomorrow you're retiring, then you think I'm going to be Vanaprastha. You can never be a Vanaprastha. I've seen it so many. We were just talking Amritananda this morning. I've seen so many people retire and still they want to go back and work. Devotees. Because there's no taste, So when you do properly, right? When you do it properly, plan from the first day, results are given to Guru and Krishna. Already you're practicing detachment. So the question you should be asking is, how can I be detached from the first day? Right? Mostly what we are doing is practicing how to become attached to this, attached to that, unnecessary things which are all temporary.
So like the aim is not to have any material desires, but the process is to do occupation.
It is,
duties
it's
with detachment.
still purifying, always purifying. It is connected to Krishna. Yeah.
That you don't have desires.
Also, Prabhupada, pure devotional service means that with pure devotional service you can go to Vaikuntha or Goloka.
Yes, either.
Both of them are
Yeah.
according to your.
Yeah. Only when you do Raganuga
Then you can
Bhakti,
go to-
then you go back to Goloka.
Otherwise, you'll be in Vaikuntha.
Yeah.
And everybody, I don't know.
Hey, I'd rather get out of this place. You guys are saying this, but you're not even doing anything about it. Right?
If you see, this whole thing is Mahabharata as the backdrop, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Yudhishthira and all this.
Yes.
In Mahabharata, you have pure devotees.
Yes.
There's
Yeah.
Gopas and Vrindavan. And then Hastinapur, where Pandavas and all that.
They're also
This is-
pure
this-
devotee.
Correct. That's what the next verse says that. Next verse answers your question actually. You see that?
No,
how-
I think Matani had that confusion. because
Correct, but
she was,
you can, let's go to the next verse. We'll see.
Yeah, anyway,
Yeah.
let's just finish this. Yeah. So this, when Narada Muni is saying, even while at home, you can still go back to Godhead.
Yeah.
Yeah. That means how you do. You can take the case of who I'm not sure. Maybe Tukaram. right? He was doing his
He was grihastha till last
grihastha
moment.
till the end. He was doing whatever service they gave him. He did. Take care of the farm, look to make sure no birds are eating the grains. And he went and did those things.
But
he
always,
he will be chanting the Lord's glories, and he'll give whatever he earned to the deity. And who's the other one? Sridhar Kolavechar. Yeah. So he also, I'm only getting 2 paisa. Then Mahabharata said, no, you're cheating me. So, but the point is, he was working and he was giving 50% to
Ganga.
Yeah, and he went back to Godhead. Let's not worry about who he is in his Krishna's past. Not about that. It's how he was connecting with Krishna or doing his occupational duty. So similarly, how much are you connecting to Krishna? Let's say you earn, for example, $200,000, and how much are you giving for Krishna? How much are you keeping for yourself and your family? So that in itself is an indicative factor that it is a mixed bhakti. So in your case, since you hold more, then it's karma mishra. But if you give fully, then it's no more karma mishra.
What I'm trying to say is the definition of pure devotion service is that Bhakti Subs and Anya
Bilash.
That doesn't tell you that you will go to Vaikuntha or Golok.
No.
That's just the pure devotion means without jnana and karma.
No mixing.
No mixing.
Yeah.
That's
all. And no impersonalism.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what action you do. It matters what's your heart, where your heart is. When you're doing your duties.
You should qualify such statements saying it has to be centered around
Krishna.
Favorably.
Yeah. Yes. Continuous. All right. Okay. Text 68. Yata hi yujam nipadeva dushyachat.
Yata hi yujam nipadeva dushyachat.
Apagana duttaratmana prabhu.
Apagana duttaratmana prabhu.
Yatpada panke ruha sevaya bhavan.
Yatpada panke ruha sevaya bhavan.
Aharasin nirjita dik. The Supreme Lord, all of you Pandavas defeated the greatest danger posed by numerous kings and demigods. By serving the lotus feet of Krishna, you conquered great enemies who were like elephants, and thus you collected ingredients for sacrifice. By His grace, may you be delivered from material involvement. So he wanted to know, right, from the beginning, that he is like a Griha Medi or something like that. Because of him, so many people were suffering, and so he wanted to find out what a householder should be doing. So then Narad Muni therefore gave him all these instructions. But here he is finally saying, you don't have to worry. Why? Because you're always
Pure.
serving the
Supreme
lotus feet of Krishna. Always serving the lotus feet. There's never, one time one devotee wrote to Prabhupada and said, have you ever forgotten Krishna or something like that? And Prabhupada wrote back and said, I've never not forgotten Krishna. I know.
Letter.
It's in the letter.
Prabhupada said he never forgot
He never
Yeah.
forgot in his entire life.
That's why the Nitya Siddhanta.
Yeah, yes it does. Easily we forget, no? Right?
It means no sinful action.
No sinful act. He says he has never
forgot.
committed any sin in this life. That's what Prabhupada says. Never committed any sin. And he can say that. And so here Narad Muni is saying, you're already safe because you along with the entire family have become a pure devotee of Krishna. Right? It's not that the Pandavas, we go back to the first canto, when the Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking Arjuna to go and find out what's happening to Krishna, right? So he comes back, but before he comes back, he and Bhishma, they are talking about it. And he sees all these omens, inauspicious omens everywhere, and so you can see already. Then when they are discussing about Krishna, they are all saying, it's not that I was good at it; it's because Krishna was involved in it. Then Arjuna comes and says the same thing. I was so able to defeat demons and demigods, but I can't do anything now.
He gets defeated by cowherd boys, right?
Yeah.
Dacoits.
Dacoits. If we are connected with Krishna, and that's another reason why I said we have Prabhupada, because if we are sincere, Srila Prabhupada will take us back to God. If you are sincere. The question is, what is sincerity? So you have to search in your heart and decide. We will have so much difficulty to go back to God here. So Prabhupada writes, in the material world, there are always dangers in every step. Padam padam yad vi padam na desham. Nonetheless, if one takes shelter of Krishna without hesitation and keeps under the shelter of Krishna, he can easily cross the ocean of nescience. So it's like the verse, right? Chatur viddam bhajante mam. So if you are sincere, then you will take shelter of Krishna. That means you will understand, I am suffering. I cannot find the answer on my own. I tried. So now there's only one person who can help me. Okay? Not my bank manager. Right? Correct or not? You cannot think. You should turn to Krishna and say, look, I understand. I'm now in bewilderment. Arjuna did the same thing. So we also can turn to Krishna or to our spiritual master and say, I'm suffering. I don't know what to do. Right? So we should take shelter without hesitation, right? Sometimes we put down and say, no, let's think about it. Without hesitation, keeps under the shelter of Krishna. He can easily cross the ocean of nescience. Yes.
There's devotees like Prabhupada who come and make auspiciousness for you, because he said, right, I made the good fortune for you. His disciples and all of us.
Yeah.
Even without the pious.
I think you just have to have faith in what Prabhupada has given us. Just have good faith, and like I said, commit to waking up early, do your Mangalarati even at your home or come to temple. If you do that for the rest of your life, you are sincere. You're showing your sincerity. Don't think you have to be flying or doing something special. No, you don't have to. Just do this. It's already set out for you to go back to God here. That's His good fortune that He has given us. You rightly pointed out. Yeah, this is the good fortune Srila Prabhupada has given us. Simple process. Just do it. Don't become so complicated. Varnashram is a simple process, but we complicate it.
Actually, some talk shows kind of impressive budget.
Yeah, so this is a famous thing, the ocean becomes a hoof of a calf, puddle of water in a hoof, so you can easily cross over, and that's effected by Krishna. Krishna makes it possible. Yeah. So again, Prabhupada gives clues how we should behave. He says, and he says, a pure devotee without embarrassing himself by trying for elevation in so many ways. So he's not going to try that. Stays in the safest position as a servant of Krishna. What did Mahaprabhu say? Gopir Bhartu Padakamaya Dasa Dasa Anudasa. So that's Prabhupada is giving us the clue. He doesn't really have to give the clue. The point is, he emphasizes this again. The safest position is to be a servant. Don't imagine I want to be the big guy, GBC, this. Don't worry about all those things. If you are qualified, Krishna will make you take the responsibility. And don't hanker for those things, because if you hanker for that, that is embarrassing yourself trying for elevation. and then our life will be eternally safe. Prabhupada says, without a doubt. These are assurances by Acharya. His words are not just something, it's a very potent words. He's giving you assurance. If you do this, you will be safe. And the only thing is you need to be sincere and convinced. My Acharya and my preceptors, spiritual preceptors are my well-wishers. And no one can cheat you. Even if it externally seems like cheating, ultimately Krishna will protect you. Yeah. So then they will say, exactly. Most people say, if you're good, you get cheated. Good guys lose, right? Is last.
Good guys finish last.
Finish last. That's what they say. So you see, the bad things are now hyped up in society as being good. So the culture is all upside down. Don't get all this to spoil your life. Be firm. Plan your life to become a pure devotee. Plan it now. You should say, okay, I have children, I have daughters, sons, and so on. So much. I'm going to make sure they have that for their education. But at this time, I'm going to retire. So you are ready to retire. Not that the company says we are laying you off. You're already 67.
So even Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he was Grihastha till the last
He quit.
stage.
He quit. He quit. He didn't want to continue.
Yes,
I think he became.
he's working
Babaji.
only like 3 hours a week.
He was Babaji later on, right?
Yeah, he quit and became a Babaji. Yeah. No, Babaji he took at the end and he closed himself in a room.
Even when he was working, he is working like 3 hours or 4 hours a day.
But he worked properly. He worked
Efficient.
efficiently.
10 hours work, 2 hours he'll finish and rest after that.
Yeah. Others wanted to extend, they are saying they are working so hard, but he would look at the case, bang, bang. They became envious of him. So one of the judges was envious of him. So after he retired, he confessed to him, I was always envious of you.
Because of your efficiency.
Yeah, you're so efficient and the case, you always were correct, whatever you said. Then here we were thinking,
They say he was so punctual, people used to match their watches.
Watches.
By the time he would come out from home.
Actually, that's how you all should be. All of us should be like that. Right? So now he's going to talk about a Gandharva. He's giving a story. Long ago in another, Aham pura bhavam kasche
Aham pura bhavam kasche
Gandharva upabarhana
Gandharva upabarhana
Namnatite mahakalpe
Namnatite mahakalpe
Gandharvanam susammataha.
Gandharvanam susammataha.
I was very respected by the other Gandharvas. So he's telling about his own story.
Radharani style about himself.
About himself.
He was a Gandharva and some previous.
Yes. He mentioned it in the 5th or 6th chapter in the first canto. Yeah. But but we shouldn't try to find out our spiritual master's past life and so on. Because then we are not at the purified level to appreciate their past life. We'll find faults. So we should see what they have accomplished as devotees like that. Okay, so this is, he wants to, of course, Mahakalpa means one
lifetime.
This is the previous lifetime of Brahma is talking about.
Not millennium of
Millennium
Brahma.
of Brahma. What Brahma's life?
Brahma
One
is
lifetime of Brahma.
It says a millennium of Brahma.
The previous lifetime of Brahma.
Yeah, that's what it's saying, right? Both are same thing.
Another
Pehla
life.
Brahma.
Previous lifetime from Lord Brahma. That's it.
Yeah. It's like
Whoever that Brahma is.
Different.
Kalpa is
Day and night. 100 years after Brahma.
I think 100
100
years.
years.
Yeah. One lifetime.
313 trillion years after.
Previous life of Brahma. Yeah, it's mentioned.
formerly during the previous lifetime of Lord Brahma. Narada was one of the denizens of Gandharva Loka. I think it is true because when the next creation starts, then Narada Muni
appear as son.
he appears as the son of Brahma. So yeah, so it was in the previous Brahma,
Cannot be this life.
not in the same one. Okay, yeah. All right, thank you. X70. Rupa Peshala Madhurya
रूपवेशलमाधुर्य
Saugandhya Priya Darshanaha
सौगन्धा प्रियदर्शनः
Strinam Priyatamo Nityam
तमो नित्यं
Mattaswapuralampataha.
मत्तस्वापुरलम्बनः
I had a beautiful face and a pleasing, attractive bodily structure. Decorated with flower garlands and sandalwood pulp, I was most pleasing to the women of my city. Thus, I was bewildered, never fade away
Yeah.
until they are about to.
Die.
Yeah, that's what. So, in Gandharva, residents in demigods are superlatively beautiful compared to us. You know, their body is it's not only beautiful; it's very fragrant.
Fragrant.
Yeah, and if they take bath in a river, the river becomes fragrant for that period. We take bath, the river has to be and beautiful. You are like, wow, you know. But these people are like billion times better.
And also the spiritual world, there's comparison, right? In the spiritual world,
Yeah, it's no comparison to the gopis,
going up and up. That's
Vaikunta.
the topmost.
Yeah,
Even the queens of
Dwaraka.
Dwaraka are amazed by the beauty of the
Yes,
gopis, right?
yes, yeah. So anyway, Prabhupada says Narad Muni was a playboy because he says himself. He always have feeling lusty desires. He goes around trying to mess around with all the ladies in the Gandharva Loka. So Prabhupada then says. Among the higher classes like Brahmana, Kshatriya and Vaishya, there is no chance for men to mingle with women freely. But in the Shudra communities, then he says, because there is no cultural education in this age of Kali, everyone is spiritually untrained. When all the people become Shudra, certainly they are very bad. Manda Sumanda Mattaya, no intelligence. No. Thus, they manufacture their own way of life. So now you can see why this is happening. With the result that they gradually become unfortunate, Manda Bhagya, no more Bhagya. And furthermore, they are always disturbed by various circumstances, which is true. You can see anything small, only they fight. Like now in India, there's a big protest going on, right?
CANRC.
CNRC. What is that?
The Citizen Amendment.
Oh,
Act.
okay.
Citizenship Act.
So it's like that.
Yesterday there were a bunch of Muslims protesting.
Yeah.
So we did Sankirtan around them. We went around them and gave the holy name to them.
And then in Hong Kong also, the Chinese people against the mainland trying to force them and so on. So
No, but what I am thinking is Narad Muni is a perfect example of sadhana siddha. Because in his previous lives he was Gandharva, then and then Narad Muni. So it is a sadhana siddha process.
he
With the
shows
sadhana,
that. Yeah, he shows how to do sadhana.
Nectar of devotion talks.
Yeah.
Or did he not get mercy from those sadhus to whom he served?
Also that.
Kripa
All of
sadhana.
us need sadhu's mercy.
Yeah, but I think
Yes, Bhakti Vedantas.
Yeah.
They blessed him.
Both, I think.
But he followed the process for the rest of his life, and that's what we are supposed to
Sadhana
do.
bhakti.
So,
He is an example. To show.
But not in this life. Not in the Gandharva life.
Not Gandharva.
Gandharva is cursed.
Yeah, he's telling what happened because he wasn't following properly. Text 71. Ekada deva satritu
Ekada deva satritu
Gandharva Apsarasam Ganaha
Gandharva Sarasam
Upahuta Vishwa Shrikbir
Upahuta Vishwashvir
Hari Gato Pagayane
Harivato Pagayane
once there was a Sankirtan festival to glorify the Supreme Lord in an assembly of the demigods, and the Gandharvas and Apsaras were invited by the Prajapatis to take part in it. The Prajapatis include
Lord Brahma.
Lord Brahma. Okay, that's right. So they were all in which planet? Brahmaloka.
Brahmaloka.
Yeah. So Brahma had this Sankirtan program in his home program. So then he invited
All the
all the
from
devatas.
different planets.
Yeah. So they all came, and then someone there didn't follow the rules properly. Aham chagayam stat vidvan stribhi parivrito gataha Jnatva vishva srijastanme
Jnatva vishvasrijastanme
Helanam se purojasa
Helanam se purojasa
Yahitam
Helanam.
Narad Muni continued. Being invited to that festival, I also joined, and surrounded by women, I began musically singing the glories of the demigods. Because of this, the Prajapatis, the great demigods in charge of the affairs of the universe, forcefully cursed me with these words: because you have committed an offense, may you immediately become a Shudra devoid of beauty. So we are all Shudras. So we shouldn't think we have beauty and all. We are fallen actually. Now, one thing is you have to appreciate, now Muni is very humble, no? Yeah. So most of us will hide our past, right? Yeah, but he's saying, look, I was like that, I was so foolish. Like that.
So Prabhuji, he glorified demigods,
Yeah.
and demigods themselves cursed you.
Yeah, because the festival was for, you don't glorify the demigods in front of the
Supreme Lord.
Supreme Lord, right? In front of the deities, you don't.
Etiquette wise.
Yes, it's a transgression of etiquette. Yeah. And he's probably showing off to the ladies. That's what he's saying. It's funny though. So the whole idea is Kirtan is meant for
Supreme Lord.
glorifying, that's right, glorifying Supreme Personality. And so he was changing the whole thing. And he was glorifying the demigods and all the, just to show off, So Prabhupada says, unfortunately, there are foolish persons who invent some process of kirtan on the basis of a demigod's name. This is an offense. Kirtan means glorifying the Supreme Lord, not any demigod. So Prabhupada says, sometimes people invent Kali Kirtan or Shiva Kirtan, and even big sannyasis in the Mayavada school say that one may chant any name and still get the same result. So all these are offensive mentality.
You'll get the curse.
Yeah. So because Narada did not glorify the Supreme Lord, they cursed him. Yeah.
So Prabhu, but that is all offense.
No. No, see, knowingly doing is worse than unknowingly doing. So you were a kid and your parents took you to those places. So maybe it wasn't your fault. And it's not kirtan, you can worship as a devotee of certain demigods, but it's not the same. Prabhupada's point is generally even demigods have kirtan for the Lord only, not for themselves. It's only us in this planet, we change everything. Generally, demigod worship is from the scriptures. You just chant the mantras and so on, and do
Charity.
yagya,
Yajna.
right? He says, by the yagya you please
The
demigods. In the
Then
Bhagavad
you get
Gita,
the
third chapter. Yeah.
symbiosis.
Prabhu, I heard in some lecture or somewhere that actually when we worship demigods, the proper way is that there's always a sacrifice or offering to Vishnu also.
First,
But some people are not very sincere about it, so they don't get the benefit that, benefactor is Vishnu. But who are sincere actually get that benefit of worshipping Vishnu also. So
yeah,
is this
innocent.
normal?
Yeah.
Is this a norm, or is this in rare cases people worship Vishnu?
In rare cases, yeah, generally in rare cases people worship. What's your question?
So my question is that because I have never done demigod worship before
Yeah.
in my childhood, grew up in a different religion altogether.
Mm-hmm.
So demigod worshippers, are they supposed to worship Vishnu always, or is it an option?
No, the Brahmanas are the one who's
Yeah,
worshipping
Brahmanas.
on the behalf of the worshipper. Will say, "I want to worship this, do some puja for that."
Right.
But in the worship, the Brahmanas first offer it to Vishnu. So the Brahmanas are supposed to do that. They cannot do it otherwise. Because otherwise, it's not following the scripture.
So the Brahmana should know about it first of all. They
Yes,
need to,
yes,
if they
yes.
want
But
to.
some of these Vipras, they are not interested. Also, they also don't have sufficient understanding. But they just simply chant the mantras.
Actually, at my home we used to do, and at the end they always used to say Sarvam Krishnarpam.
Mm.
I used to ask when I was like 6-7 years. Demigod worship, we always end with that.
Mm.
Like at the end we offer to everything to Krishna.
Krishna. So that's how it is. They'll offer first to Krishna, then to the demigods.
So my neighbor called me for one of these pujas.
Mm-hmm.
So the pujari from Bothal temple, Bothal is north of here,
Mm.
Hindu temple.
Mm.
So he came first, he recited all the Shankaracharya mantras. So I know that he's from that sampradaya. Then he actually did Om Keshvaya Namaha Madhavaya Namaha, whether he knows the meaning or not, but he did all that. Then he did a lot of pujas to the demigods. So mixed masala, he mixed everything.
Yeah, what can you can't blame them because there's no proper guidance, That's what Prabhupada is saying here, right? People are neglecting the worship, they don't know, so they invent some process.
They want to look as if they are sophisticated, so
Yeah.
they recite everything, whatever they know.
Yeah. So you can't chant any name and get the same result. That's offensive.
So demigods are offered to Vishnu. So that means the worshipper gets.
Demigods don't offer to
They
Vishnu.
don't?
No, because the Brahmana who is offering the sacrifice, he's always offering first to Vishnu, then the result,
Give the
the rest,
prasad.
it goes to the demigod. So they get actually prasad already,
Remnants.
remnants.
Oh, okay. This is the right way.
That's how it is done.
So when Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita that they worship demigods, they're just trying to worship demigods.
Yeah, their focus is
That's the wrong way of.
they do not know that actually Krishna is the main person, but their focus is
Kamaste sthir
with
That's what most of the pujaris do, then, who are not Krishna conscious. That's what they do, right? Most of them, most of the priests.
most people looking for temporary things.
I hear Prabhuji when you offer to Shivji, Lord Shiva,
Yeah,
so he don't eat. He just pass to the booth, Pichas, whoever his follower.
possible. Yeah, yeah.
So he don't offer to Krishna. I mean, he doesn't.
नहीं वो महाप्रसाद लेंगे देते नहीं है कृष्ण.
Yeah, if they give Mahaprasad, Lord Shiva will take. If you give some chanta items,
Yeah.
then he will
Like
pass it on to
people
Bhutan Prem.
slaughter animals and
Yeah.
stuff like that. He's not going to take.
Even Kali, they say she doesn't actually give to her.
Yes, her followers.
It is said that in one of the Srimad Bhagavatam we read last time, remember? Yeah, he gives to all the Bhuta
Yes.
Pichasha Ganas.
Yes, that's how it is.
But they themselves are devotees, so why would they take all nonsense?
Yeah, that's right. They're just doing their service. Like, why would then, when Mahaprabhu, there is a pastime where Durga, she gets very disturbed because she has to punish the living entities. So she tells the Lord, why have I got to do
God,
this?
this service.
And he says, this is one of the most important service I've assigned you. And then she feels glad that she's doing that to help him.
Service.
Yeah, otherwise they won't want to do that because she says it's a thankless task.
Yamaraj also says that in
Mm.
6th canto.
Yeah, Raj also. Yeah.
So usually the demigods must be following properly. If they don't, then they'll fall down.
So Prabhupada, anyway,
That's what happened in Raj.
anyway, let's come back to the purpose. Here Prabhupada says, what was Narada's mistake when he got cursed? He says, his first offense was that he went to join the Sankirtan party in the company of Asti women, these women. And another offense, the second, was that he considered ordinary songs like cinema songs and other such songs to be equal to Sankirtan. So the two mistakes he did. For this offense, he was punished with becoming a Sudra. So you can see many times cinema songs, they just, nonsense, Yeah. So he was singing, praising the demigods, but still it was nonsense songs. That's what Prabhupada says.
Which is what most of the Hindus do.
They give movie songs.
They play movie songs. Yeah, see the
Dance
same thing.
before the demigod.
For Ganesha in Hyderabad, all movie songs, right? And then they will take some alcohol and they will dance in very weird
the,
ways.
the competition is the size of the idol. Yeah.
Oh,
Ganesha. The bigger the size, they're like.
and then they should go to the Bengal, no?
Kali.
Kali. Starry
Kali.
high. Like 73.
Right after Kali Puja, you'll see a lot of abortions because that time is used to do all nonsense.
Oh, I thought they were sacrificing.
Animal sacrifice and this also nonsense stuff.
Nonsense. Text 73. Tavadasyam aham jakshne tatrapi brahmavadinam
Tatrapi Brahmavadina
Shushrusayanu Sangena
Shushruyanu Sanjena
Praktoham Brahmaputratam.
Praptoham Brahmaputratam.
Although I took birth as a Shudra from the womb of a maidservant, I engaged in the Lord Brahma. Very quickly he gives his life story. But he gives more information in the first canto about what he went through.
I have just one thought in my mind. Prabhu, हम एकादशी का वो पढ़ते हैं ना?
What?
Yeah.
The book, the story.
Mahatmya. So in that, it always says that Gandharvas, Apsaras, whoever in the demigods, they did something wrong in front of Lord Brahma, especially related to these lusty desires. They just prayed to Lord Brahma and they said, okay, you just do one Ekadashi and you'll go back. And that's what had happened. They will do one Ekadashi, staying awake the whole night, not eating the whole day, and they will be relieved of the curse. I'm just comparing. Narad Muni didn't do that. He went through the whole curse for his whole lifetime. Just a comparison.
Yeah. For some people, maybe Brahma was more kind. For the Gandharvas, here Brahma was even more kind because he became a pure devotee of Lord. Well, Narada Muni is an eternal associate of Narayan, so whatever he goes through, we cannot understand. It's all part of the Leela, the Lord's Leela.
Setting example also.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Set examples. Yeah. Okay. So when you read from some Puranas, there's so many such incidents. So one thing you can understand, this Gandharvas and Apsaras, they're prone to making a lot of mistakes even in heavenly planets. So they get cursed a lot. So we shouldn't adopt such practices, playboy, all this thing, going to parties. So children should be raised not to go to parties.
But the fact that they have gone to Gandharva Loka or Apsara Loka, they have some piety. Right?
Some better than, of course. Still
they make mistakes.
Yeah.
That's what they say now, that sixth chapter.
But still they are lesser demigods than the other demigods. Yeah. And still when they come to perform, they have to do it properly. Must be pakka. Otherwise they get cursed. Right? When they do some drama or what, if they don't do it according to the rules properly, they get cursed.
Yeah.
And then they get punished, so to speak. So that's what it is. They get cursed, then they do some brat or something, and then they get only the curse is removed, and they go back to their original situation as a demigod. But in Narad Muni's case, it's not like that.
It was very good actually. He served Vaishnavas
and went and became an eternal associate of Narayan. Okay. In any case, Prabhupada, for our benefit, he says the Sankirtan movement is important for regardless of whether one is Shudra, Vaishya, Milacha, Yavana, or whatever. If one associates with a pure devotee, in this case, Srila Prabhupada, follows his instructions and serves the pure devotee, his life is successful. If we serve Prabhupada's movement, we become successful. This is bhakti. Anukulyena Krishnanusiliyanam. That means anything that is connected to Krishna. Bhakti consists of serving Krishna and his devotees favorably. Anukulya. Anya vilasita shunyam. If one has no desire other than to serve Krishna and his devotees, then his life is successful. So that's why I said earlier on, you have to plan your life. As a grihastha, you know you want to go back to Godhead, so then start planning now, not when you retire. So then you'll know I want to serve Krishna and no one else like that. Okay. Alright.
So if we got a good habits right now, like if go to Mangalarti
Yes.
and reading scripture,
Yes.
so then later on we get used to it. I mean, I'm already 50, so I'm already.
So you should plan to
so
finish
right
up
now, I mean,
in another 5, 6
practice
years.
right now.
Yeah.
Continue.
In another 5, 10 years you should quit.
Yeah. Yeah, most of them we are.
Stop driving around like a
Sure.
fool.
It's already cut down.
Yeah, so
No,
you should. You and your wife should say enough money. Now let's go to
Focus.
Goloka. So then do that, Then if you can't do it here, then go back to India, Mayapur or somewhere and do service there. Whatever.
No, we have service here.
Okay, okay, he has service for you.
We have pujaari slots open.
Yeah, so like
This
that.
is Goloka.
Yeah, so you can organize with Prabhuji. Now the Prasad he'll arrange for you retirement. So you have to plan. Again, the same thing. Don't not plan. That's my point. You plan so many material things. Why can't you plan this?
Even material things we cannot plan. Probably,
Yeah, that's what people
nothing is
plan.
uncertain. I mean, nothing is certain.
Still they plan. All right. 74. Dharmaste griha mediyo
Namaste Dhamadiyo.
Varnita papa nashana
Varinapapashana.
Gryasto yena padavim
Vastoyena padavim.
Anjasanyasinam ya.
Jasanyasinamya.
Process of chanting the holy name of the Lord is so powerful that by this chanting even householders, grihastas, can very easily gain the ultimate result achieved by persons in the renounced order. Maharaj Yudhishthira, I have now explained to you that process of religion. So Prabhupada says, this is a confirmation of the Krishna consciousness movement. Anyone who takes part in this movement, regardless of what he is, can gain the topmost result achieved by a perfect sannyasi, namely Brahma Jnana, spiritual knowledge. Even more important, he can advance in devotional service. Because Maharaj Yudhishthira was feeling he's not doing much as a grihastha. But it's not the same. So Narad Muni then cites his own life to show that if you can associate with the devotees and chant the holy name, then you can get the highest perfection without doubt. So that means association is important. What are the 5 most important things in your devotional life?
Deity worship, chanting,
Chanting, deity worship,
reading,
reading Srimad Bhagavatam,
Serving the
Serving.
Vaishnavas.
associating, serving the Vaishnava,
And living in
living
Seattle.
living in the holy Dham.
Yeah.
Seattle.
That's what Gopal Krishna Maharaj said once. Like, scripture said is Vrindavan, but I want you to live here and serve the deity.
Yeah, as long
Because
as
if everyone goes to Vrindavan, it will become too crowded and dirty. Gopal Krishna Maharaj. यहीं पे अपना यहाँ कर बोले थे वो last living in Vrindavan को he said normally it is Vrindavan but I'm saying live in Seattle. Everybody should not go to Vrindavan. It will become dirty.
Normally, I think we can go when we get old. We can go Vrindavan, right? Not the young age, right?
No need. You go there and die. That's it.
Yeah.
किसको पता है किसी को पता नहीं
I should not be saying it, but still I would say it.
You will say it.
Yeah. In the Sanskrit,
Yeah.
the dharma is the religious principle, but Prabhupada has translated as chanting of the holy name.
It is a religious
It is our religion,
Yeah.
but people, point
People
this
don't
thing
understand.
out. That,
No, you don't worry about it. You can ask them what is the Yuga Dharma for Kali Yuga.
Yeah.
They don't know.
So then that's it. Yeah. So then you say you do not know. So don't judge the acharya. Put them where they are supposed to be. right? Immediately you should ask, what's the Yoga Dharma? You know or not? They don't know, then you say, then why are you talking about the Acharya? He's Acharya, you're not even Acharya.
Go take a bath. I
Yeah.
said, okay, bye-bye.
Yeah. So some things you should be very firm, and you should know, and put them.
Convinced ourselves.
Yeah,
first.
you should be so convinced. This is why we are doing it. This is why Dharma is translated like that.
But being too harsh, we might drive them away also.
Doesn't matter. We are not here to be a
Please.
popular thing.
Yeah, that's the main question. Direct preaching or bridge preaching?
I don't know. I'm the way I am. So
I like direct preaching.
Yeah. So then
we
do-
cannot
do
change.
what-
I mean,
yeah.
based on who we are.
Yeah, if you are the type who has to build nicely, then you do it here that way, and it may be appealing to some group of people.
I think I'm telling shuru karo, preaching karo.
Yeah.
If I do, I'll be direct. I won't go around.
Then don't worry about it. Yeah. See, some people will be attracted by your style. Some will be attracted another way.
So people say that you can drive away many people.
No,
Let
not
them go.
true.
No worry.
Not true. If the person is sincere, he or she will still come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Prabhupada did the same.
Yes.
That's so many people do.
Yeah.
So I used to have 12 students.
Yeah.
Last night only one student came to my class.
Right.
Because I am fairly
Direct.
direct. I don't beat around the bush. But then 12 to 1 ratio, like 11 people ran away.
Then one can get you 1,000. Don't worry.
That one can go.
Like an acharya, man. You have to do pizza and preaching now.
No, you cannot think like that. They're already devotees.
Mm.
Yeah, they may not be at the level where they want to study, So maybe when you teach, you may have to adjust the way you present the philosophy. Teaching is different from when you are meeting people who argue about Srila Prabhupada's translation.
Yeah, those are different categories.
Yes, so that's why I say, telling her you have to be very straight and explain properly.
But we also have to say according to what we practice. You
Yeah.
can't say that go to Mangalati every day if you're not doing yourself.
Yes,
That's
yes.
not good.
Yeah, so I'm telling you, go to Mangala.
That's the idea. I mean,
Because that's
that one
what
have
we
the
do
power.
every day. Maybe when I travel, no, but otherwise in the temple, yeah, it's fun. Yeah. Okay, so text 75. Yuyam niloke bataburi baga.
Yuyam niloke bataburi baga.
Lokam punana munayo viyanti.
Lokam punana munayo viyanti.
Sangrihana vasititi saksha.
Desham grihana vasiti saksha.
Udham param brahma manusya lingam.
Dudam param brahma manushya lingam.
My dear Maharaj Yudhishthira, you Pandavas are so very fortunate in this world that many great saints who can purify all the planets of the universe come to your house just like ordinary visitors. Furthermore, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is living confidentially with you in your house, just like your brother.
Oh.
He always says this. Always praises Pandavas for their fortune.
You
In
can
the
see.
description of Mahajan also he say like we people, but you are very
Yeah,
high. For himself
he
also he
says that's what he's saying. He's saying he's not that great.
He's saying he's general devotee, but you are
Yeah,
special.
yeah.
Just like ordinary wisdom.
Because the Lord is their cousin, right? He's a servant, so he sees like that. All right, this is an exalted person, Vaishnava. Okay, when we say we are Brahmana, means we should be able to give people the understanding of what Brahman is. You shouldn't just say, "Oh, I'm Brahman. I'm twice initiated," but then. What does that mean? It means you should be able to deliver them the knowledge about Brahman, Parabrahman. Like that. Okay? Yeah, Prabhupada says that. That even if you can do that, then you are a Brahmana. And what is Brahma? What is the definition of Brahmana? Brahmana?
Brahma
Brahma. Janati iti
Brahmana.
Brahmana.
don't understand.
That means he knows Brahman and he can give Brahman. So Brahmana means he teaches and he worships.
Practices.
Yeah.
Practicing.
Yeah. He teaches and then he worships like that. He gives in charity, he takes in charity. And then he teaches scriptures and studies. Yes.
Third thing.
Okay. So if you develop your Krishna consciousness very nicely, you become very attractive to all the devotees. So they will come to your home just to take your association. So you can see all these saintly Vaishnavas, so powerful, they want to come and take the association of the Pandavas. So in the same way, if you practice so nicely, you'll find many devotees, senior Vaishnavas will say, oh, I heard about this devotee. Can I meet them like that? So you also can get the association.
So,
Or the other way is you go and take association of a advanced Vaishnava. Yeah. Yes.
one of my students gave me charity. So what should I give back in return?
Blessings.
I'm not in a position to give blessings.
Yes, everyone can give blessings. You pray for his welfare and I don't know, that's about it. Or you can give
Some book or something.
something, yeah. Some gift in exchange, yeah. Dadati. Dadati. So you can do the exchange. Don't see
Prasadam
this-
exchange is easy because we are always eating.
Give something you feel that will help the devotee, or you bless him, pray for him. You can give both. Right? You can always pray to Lord Krishna, to Gonita, Shri Radha Nilama. Please help this devotee to go back to Godhead in this life. Right? Can't you pray? Right?
Myself, I'm not in that position.
You can pray, right?
Pray myself.
Someone else will pray for us.
Yeah, you pray for them. Yeah. You can say, I'm not qualified, but at least make this person
Qualified.
so that's a prayer.
Hmm.
Right? Why can't we pray like that? We are so selfish, you know.
First, let me get this.
Yeah, first let me get it, then I'll think about this. Which is true, but at the same time we practice.
How can we give something we don't have?
Prayer is nothing that
You never anyway have it.
Yeah.
Maybe you need some
No.
Pani,
This-
water.
Yeah, that's the. If you're supposed to not touch the cup and then drink that, but if all of us do, everything will be gone. So
especially moving vehicles.
moving vehicle, yes.
Yeah. Not to touch the body of glass.
Those are practices of this. They say that's how we should eat, and so I remember my grandmother was saying that they will not even touch the mouth. They'll just make it into ball and pop
Yeah.
like that. And I'm like, how can you eat? You know?
Extreme.
Like this.
Yeah. So I'm like, no.
No, in Indian villages, even now, they drink water like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
They got
yeah. I
plastic
mean, if you
glass.
have nothing else to do, you're sitting in one corner, you can do practice.
Practice. We have other things.
What is the reason behind that? Like not touching?
Suchi.
Contaminant.
Once it touches your lips, this thing becomes, your glass becomes.
Anyway, I'm a Shudra, so it's okay.
Right.
So that's all right. As long as we understand how to serve Srila Prabhupada and the movement, that's more important. Text 76. Savayam Brahma Mahadvimirjya
Savayam Brahma Mahadvimirjya
Kaivalya Nirvana Sukhanubhuti
Kaivalya Nirvana Sukhanubhuti
Yasuridva Kalu Matuleya
Yasurva Kalumatuleya
Atmarhaniyo Vidikrit Guruscha.
Atmananiyo Vidikrit Gurusha.
How wonderful it is that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Parabrahman, Krishna, who is sought by great sages for the sake of liberation and transcendental bliss, is acting as your best well-wisher, your friend, your cousin, your heart and soul, your worshipable director, and your spiritual master.
Haribo.
Amazing, no? So the Pandavas are so amazing. We are nothing. But we have
Whatever 13 years.
We have Prabhupada.
We have Prabhupada.
Prabhupada, right?
Pandavas had 13 years of misery also.
Yeah,
Prabhupada is acting as our best well-wisher.
yeah.
All
So
of
we
these are
have
plus.
Prabhupada. So we should be very happy that, wow, thank God we have Prabhupada. Yeah. Because we don't have anyone. We can't say like, oh, I have Krishna cousin or anything. But we have Prabhupada, and through Prabhupada we have Shri Radha Nila Madhava, Sitaram Hanuman Lakshman, yeah, Gaur Nitai, Gaur, huh? So many.
Jagannath Baladev,
Yeah, like that, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra, like that.
And now we have Acharya Parampara also installed yesterday.
Oh, okay. So you want to do full worship with the deities also?
Yeah, they have deities
So
actually.
every morning you will bathe them?
That I don't know. Puja, I'm not a
We
pujari.
have to talk to about it.
Oh.
They are awesome and everything.
Hmm. So, in the second paragraph, Prabhupada writes, Krishna does not become the direct spiritual master unless one is fully trained by his representative spiritual master. Okay, that means the key thing you should know is one is fully trained.
Yeah.
All right, not halfway trained or anything. Properly and fully trained. When Prabhupada says fully trained means you're properly trained, you're qualified. Therefore, as we have already discussed, the Lord's representative spiritual master should not be considered an ordinary human being. At the beginning, right, Srila Prabhupada emphasized that. The representative spiritual master never gives any false knowledge to his disciple, but only perfect knowledge. Thus, he is the representative of Krishna. Krishna helps as the guru or spiritual master from within and from without. That means Chaitya Guru and manifested Guru. From without, he helps the devotee as his representative, and from within, he talks personally with the pure devotee. Now, he is actually talking to us, it's just that we are not pure enough to hear, and gives him instructions by which he may return home back to Godhead. So, Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Yena Mam Upayanti. So that's what he's saying.
When the sixth chapter of Bhagavad Gita says when one controls the mind, the super soul can be reached. But
Yeah.
just like we read in some of the previous verses, just not controlling the mind, but you have to take active service, otherwise you'll fall from the platform.
Yes.
That's all right.
Service must be active all the time. Yeah. But sustaining that is our problem, nah? Right?
You must have noticed, Prabhuji, this time Navin Krishna has been on a roll. He's speaking so much. Now
Yes,
he's caught fire.
Yes.
Just that.
Fire of preaching.
That's good. Because he's going out on books, so it's coming out, the Bhav is coming. Text 77. Nayasya shaksha bhava padmajadivi.
Nayasya sakshat bhavapadmajadihi.
Rupam diyavastu pavarnitam.
Rupam diyavastutayo pavarnitam.
Maunena bhaktyopashamena pujita.
Maunena bhaktyo pasamena pujita.
Prasidatamesha sasatvatam pati.
Prasidatamesha sasatvatam patihi.
Satvatam pati. This is also mentioned in the first
Kunti's prayer.
no, second chapter.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's true.
Bhagavan Satvatam.
Bhagavan Satvatam Pati. Present here now is the same Supreme Personality of Godhead whose true form cannot be understood even by such great personalities as Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. He is realized by devotees because of their unflinching surrender. May that same personality of Godhead, who is the maintainer of his devotees and who is worshipped by silence, by devotional service, and by cessation of material activities, be pleased with us.
Canto 2.
No.
Second
First chapter.
Chapter 1, Chapter 2, first canto.
Balwan Sattvatampat. I wrote the exam, but
I'm also forgetting. That's okay. I'm just trying. Okay.
So Brahma Narad Muni is speaking all this in front of Krishna only, right? At the Rajasuya Yagya. That's where the conversation between Narada and Yudhishthira takes place.
1 to 15.
What is it?
Starting from? Yes. All this.
I think so. तभी उन्होंने स्टोरी सुनाई थी ना प्रहलाद महाराज की. Yeah, तभी that's what I'm confirming.
Is this happening at Rajasuya Yajna? This conversation? That's what she was asking.
Yad Anudyasina Yukta. No, not this one.
1 to 15?
No.
But this is not the last line, right? Last line is where we need that Satvatam.
It's not coming.
What are you doing? Anyway, you guys look at it. Let's continue.
Yes.
I'll answer your question later. All right. So here Narada is saying that even Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, meaning if you are simply holding that position, if you are not like a pure devotee, then even they cannot understand Krishna. Actually, Krishna is only understood by his devotees. But of course, our Brahma is a pure devotee. So he knows Krishna also. And another point Prabhupada makes is by the causeless mercy of Krishna, the devotees can understand him.
1 to 14.
Hmm?
I think 1 to 14.
Again. Yeah. This. Okay.
Yes, that's what I was. Tasmat with one point. Tasmat ekana mansa. Bhagavan Sattvatamapati. Sotavya ki jitavya. Te pujasya nityada. Right?
1 to 14.
So this is how we should be focused with one pointed attention. Then the Lord will give protection.
Even the other sloka, kama sarva kama va moksha
Moksha
kama
kama
tivrena
bhakti. All slokas are like that in this chapter.
Because when I read that Sattvatamapati, I remember this. Just wanted to see. He's our protector, the maintainer. That's what he is, of devotees.
This is chapter where Pandavas remembering the activities done by Krishna.
Huh?
This is when Krishna is trying to leave.
Not yet. This is in the second chapter.
Okay.
Yeah. After that only.
Right.
Towards 11 chapter, 9 chapter, 10, 11. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So Srila Prabhupada reiterates points here already raised previously. That the only way you can approach Krishna is through bhakti. Yeah, like that. So that's the main thing. Here, the highlight of this is the benediction at the end. He says, "May that same personality of Godhead, who is the maintainer of his devotees and is worshipped by silence, by devotional service, and by cessation of material, be pleased with us." So he's asking the Lord to give us the blessings. That's the main thing.
Worship by silence means dhyana.
Yeah.
So dhyana yoga, bhakti yoga, and karma yoga.
Karma.
These are some three things.
Yeah. So we ask for blessing means we can become pure, perfect. Like that. So finally, text 78, we go back to Sukadeva Goswami. Shri Shuka Vacha Videva Rishina Proktam Samya Bharata Rishabha Pujayam Asa Supritaha Krishnam Cha Prema Vivalaha Sri Shukadeva Goswami said, Maharaj Yudhishthira, the best member of the Bharata dynasty, thus learned everything from the descriptions of Narada Muni. After hearing these instructions, he felt great pleasure from within his heart, and in great ecstasy, love, and affection, he worshipped Lord Krishna. See, they listen one time and they get all this pleasure. We listen 100 times, we have no pleasure. It is natural that when someone belonging to one's family circle is understood to be very great, one becomes ecstatic in love, thinking, oh, such a great personality is our relative. When Sri Krishna, who was already known to the Pandavas, was further described by Narada Muni to be the supreme personality of Godhead, naturally the Pandavas were amazed, thinking the supreme personality of Godhead is with us as our cousin. Suddenly the ecstasy was extraordinary.
Who is from India?
No, usually when people say they know everything, then you can ask a few questions. Yeah, say, what do you do in these circumstances? Since you know, please kindly tell me. Then they don't.
They won't have any answer.
Yeah, then you say, I don't want pressure. Then
I was
say,
standing in the airport with Dhoti.
Yeah.
She came and started talking to me in Bengali. আমি মায়াপুর হচ্ছে, and I was like that. I said, no, okay, no, I take Prabhupada books. She said, no, I'm from Mayapur, I know everything.
Meaning she probably has the books.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Because whenever we wear this cloth, they think we are Bangla.
Yeah. Not necessarily. But I guess so. Maybe you look like a Bengali. Text 79.
Glasses, very intellectual.
Yeah, maybe. Krishna Partam Upamantriya
Krishna Partha Upamantriya
Pujita Prayayau Muni
Pujita Prayayau Muni
Shrutva Krishnam Param Brahma
Shrutva Krishnam Param Brahma
Varta Parama Vishmitaha
Varta Parama Vishmitaha.
Narada Muni, being worshipped by Krishna and Maharaj Yudhishthira, bade them farewell and went away. Yudhishthira Maharaj, having heard that Krishna, his cousin, is the supreme personality of Godhead, was struck with wonder.
In shock.
After hearing the conversation between Narada and Yudhishthira, if one still has any doubts about Krishna's being the supreme personality of Godhead, one should immediately give them up. Asam sayam samagram. Okay? So give up without any doubt. One should understand Krishna to be the supreme personality of Godhead and thus surrender at his lotus feet. Ordinary persons do not do this even after hearing all the Vedas. But if one is fortunate, although it may be even after many, many births, he comes to this conclusion. Prabhupada quotes the Mahanam Janma Samatma Sudurlabha. Very rare. So in some fashion, you can say that you taking up the process is also very rare. You know? But the question is, you shouldn't give it up. Or will you give it up? Yeah, so that's what it is. Asam sayam samagram. Don't have doubts and give it up. And Yudhishthira Maharaj is Iti dakshaya ninam te
Iti dakshaya ninam te
Takvam sha prakirtitaha
Vitakvam shakakirtitaha
Devasura manusyadya
Devasura manusyadya
Lokayatra characharaha.
Lokayatra characharaha.
On all the planets within this universe, the varieties of living entities, moving and non-moving, including the demigods, demons and human beings, were all generated from the daughters of Maharaj Daksha. I have now described them and their different dynasties. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 7th canto, 15th chapter, the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Instructions for Civilized Human Beings, completed on the night of Vaishakhi Shukla Ekadasi. We should have finished yesterday. The 10th of May 1976, in the temple of the Pancha Tattva, New Navadvip, Honolulu, by the mercy of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda.
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
End of the 7th canto.
Hari Bol.
Shila Prabhupada ki jai.
Exactly 2 hours class. We'll end here. Take a break.
We'll take a break. Okay, let's break. When's lunch?
Lunch is 1.
1 o'clock. Okay, we'll take break for 10 minutes.